education is the key. When new people come into this space, it's very easy for them to get drawn into projects that they don't understand. Cryptocurrencies are not the same. It can be easy for new people to the space to think that everything is Bitcoin. So what I'm going to aim to do in this video is give just a little bit of education. We're going to look at what if every cryptocurrency had a maximum supply of 21 million. How would that change your feelings towards that particular project? So, understanding how cryptocurrency supply manipulates perceived value using the prospect theory. Now, this is quite an interesting one. It's about people finding a perceived profit. Most people new to this space just look at the price first. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's probably the worst thing you can do, because that's where they get you first. That's where your mind can be tricked into thinking, wow, this is better than it is. Now, if you understand even the smallest thing about Bitcoin and why Bitcoin was invented, you'll understand that it's pretty much about this limited supply. So Bitcoin has 21 million coins. That's all it's ever going to have, and that'll be mined sometime in the future. So when you're measuring all of these projects, you really want to be measuring it against that 21 million supply. Now, if you don't have a mathematical background, this can sometimes be a bit daunting. So in this video, I'm just going to show you how to calculate every project based on that 21 million supply and see what the value of that coin would be. So, and I think this will shock you, and hopefully it will make you change your mind about looking at penny stock. Hopefully it will make you change your mind looking at things that, oh, that's just 1 penny, I'll go and buy one, because there's a few things you need to look at. So the reason I'm on this is just recently we got into a bit of a discussion on Twitter, and it was quite an interesting one, and it really did make me think, actually, in actual fact, people don't understand what Decred is. They don't understand where Decred comes from, and they don't understand, and they're not doing the research into finding out why it's so great. Pretty much everyone knows about Bitcoin, and when you visit certain channels, you'll see them spouting off about Bitcoin and how wonderful it is. Now, if you were an early adopter into Bitcoin, it is wonderful, but now the price is like £7,000 or £8,000, and the gains that you'll make as a new investor that doesn't have loads and loads of money is actually pretty slim. The value proposition is actually quite low. So the reason we got onto this, so Altcoin Daily just delivered a video based on what their number one altcoin was for this year, June 2020.
Now, what is your number one altcoin pick? And in this video, I am going to name a project. I am not buying this coin. The name of the game in general for me is to accumulate Bitcoin. This coin could be dead in 5 years. It does not have the same fundamentals that Bitcoin has. The reason I'm specifically talking about this coin today is because the head of Coinbase listings has just gone on record on a podcast and named this coin as his number one coin pick. I mean, for me, it'd be Bitcoin. And there you have it. Decred. He is bullish on Decred. Now, to be completely transparent, I personally don't know a lot about the tokenomics of Decred. Again, I wish I was more educated on Decred.
And halfway through it, they just basically said, I don't really know anything about this coin, but I've been told by the guy that does listings, Coinbase, that it's going to be great, so I'm looking at it. I'm not buying it, I'm buying Bitcoin. And it was like, come on, man, if you're going to talk about a project, at least do your research and find out what it's about. Anyway, the Decred guys, we had a few bits of discussion. It was nice. It was, if you go onto Twitter and you search for Decred, you'll be able to talk to so many of us, and it's actually a really good environment. So, get stuck in with the education and find out what makes certain coins tick. So this part of the reason I'm delivering this video is because it was like, well, we need to give new people a bit of education, a bit of understanding about what makes a certain coin. So let's just delve right into this. So if every single coin had a maximum supply of 21 million, this is what the market would look like. And as you can see, it's slightly different. So what I've done here is I've listed the top 30 coins on CoinMarketCap, and I've just gone through them. Some of these I would never invest in. Some of them I've dabbled in the past, but it's just to show you that they are all different. On the left hand side here, we have all of the project names. And then we have the current price. So this is the price of the project at its current value before I started recording this video. And then you'll see the supply. Now, it's also important to realize that not every coin has a maximum supply. So where you see these double hashtags or double stars, they don't have maximum supply. They're always printing and they're always mining new coins. Here's all your maximum supplies, and you'll notice that Bitcoin's one at the top. This is your leading ground. So 21 million is kind of where all coins should be. And as I said in most of my videos, I really don't see much of a reason for coins to do any more than that, other from their own self-gain. So as you can see, current price of a Bitcoin is £7,748, and when you make it into a 21 million coin, it's still the same price. If you look at Ethereum is currently priced at £193, but if it had the same supply as Bitcoin, actual fact, each Ethereum would cost you £1,022. Now think about this. We're looking at data in a slightly different way. This is the data you always see. This price data in the second column is the data you see. You go onto CoinMarketCap, you see that data, and you get excited because it goes up a penny, it goes down a penny, and it all gets very exciting. I want to see it in its true light. And its true light is what's the actual price when it's measured properly, when it's measured against the 21 million supply. So let's look at XRP, and let's just look at the price. And most people go, I'll just buy a few XRP. Now the way I think about this is, if you think about it, I don't know if you've ever bought Japanese yen, but you can buy 10,000 Japanese yen for something like £70. Now, when you first go into Japanese yen, you go, wow, I got 10,000 Japanese yen, cost me £70. But in truth, you're going to get a pair of trainers for that, It's not the same as £10,000. And it's the same here with this XRP. It's 16p, and you can think, wow, this is amazing. But when you look at it truly, what you're actually paying is, to get the same quality, is you're actually paying £772 based on the same supply as Bitcoin. Now think about it again. Would you buy XRP at £772 a coin? If the answer is yes, and you believe it has great value and it has great potential, fantastic. Go and buy it, and feel confident that you're doing the right thing. If your mind is changed by this, and if you all of a sudden think, actual fact, I couldn't wholeheartedly pull myself to do that, then obviously pull back. When you think about this again, this price here is basically saying that you are buying a 21 millionth of the supply. So when you buy one Bitcoin, you're buying 1/21 millionth of the supply. And the same with Decred. If you buy one Decred, you're buying 1/21 millionth of the supply. And this one here, if you buy 4,761 XRP, you're buying 1 millionth of the supply. Now just kind of let that absorb, and that's really where this value prospect comes from. Because anyone that wants to make money in this market has to understand the percentages. That if you just buy one XRP, you're not going to make, it might go up to 25p, it might go up to 50p, but really and truly, if you're going to make your money in this, you have to understand the percentages. So when I look at this, I aim to own 1 millionth of the supply. So for instance, if I went into Bitcoin, I'd have to own 21 coins. And it's the same with Decred, 1 millionth of the supply. And the only reason I think about this currently is because I'm so early to the game. In 10 years' time, there's no way someone like me, who's just a normal person, is going to be able to buy a millionth of the supply. It's just going to be almost impossible for people like us. But we're so early to this that you can. And it's about choosing the correct projects. and making sure you choose correctly. And we'll do another calculation in another video about this kind of 1/1,000,000th of the supply and see how much it would cost us to do that. And if you're going to be a true investor, you have to work out the percentage. If you've got enough money to buy 1% of the supply, then fantastic. Currently 1% of the supply of Bitcoin is something like 210,000 Bitcoin would give you 1% of the supply. So you think about it like that, and I don't know how many billions that would be, but yeah. So this is why we're looking at it this way. We're trying to change the perspective if everything was measured against the same thing. So let's have a look at Litecoin. I heard a guy on Twitter the other day, Litecoin's really undervalued. So Litecoin is currently valued at £151 per coin. That doesn't seem undervalued to me. That seems kind of like a little bit high, if you ask me, based on the fact that it is where it is. So it's not undervalued. And you look at any of these in the top. What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Any of these in the top 9, all the way down to EOS, are probably slightly overvalued based on where we're currently at. We're early to this game, and that's when it starts getting interesting. When you start getting down a little bit further. And my first yellow flag is Dash. Actual fact, this is where it starts to get slightly more sensible. And if you think about this also, and look at XRP again, I can buy a 0.5 gram of gold for £772. Now, another question for yourself: what would you prefer to own, 0.5 gram of gold or 4,761 XRP? Because that's the value as well. What would you prefer to own, gold or XRP? And you have to ask yourself these questions very, very sensibly. And it's the same with, I don't know, once we get down here, silver is probably, actually that's 1 gram of platinum. XRP is valued at the same price as 1 gram of platinum. There's another one. We've got to get a bit lower to get 1 gram of silver, of course. In actual fact, £16 is a gram of silver. So look at Decred, my first green flag. It's roughly the same price as a gram of silver. So ask yourself that, would you prefer to own a gram of silver or some Decred? And that is giving you, £14 is giving you a 21 millionth of the supply. So that's an important thing as well. So hopefully this is making a little bit of sense. So when you're looking at your value, and this is a very, very basic metrics. This is not me saying, hey, go out and buy it on this. This is just one thing that I look at to kind of warp my perception, if you like. So I'm not just looking at straight prices. If you look at straight prices, you're probably going to get taken. You need to kind of think about this in different ways, and there probably isn't any better way of doing this for a beginner than just seeing what the actual price would be if it had the same supply metrics as Bitcoin. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense here. So if you're interested in any of these projects, if you want to see this, the actual, I think that's pretty much all I need to do here. And you can kind of pause the video and just have a look at all these. But if you want to work this stuff out for yourself and put it into a spreadsheet, the calculation for this is this one here. So what you have to do if you want to do it on your calculator, or if you want to do it in a spreadsheet, is you have to, inside of brackets, you have to say, right, what's the coin supply? So if you're doing XRP, you'd put 100 billion in there. Now 100 billion, remember, is 1 billion is 1,000 million, so just keep that in mind when you're working that out. And then you have to divide it by 21 million inside the brackets. Then after that you say times coin price, so if it's XRP, say something like 16p, and then equals, which will give you that 21 million supply price. So it's fairly straightforward to work out. So hopefully that was okay. Hopefully you didn't find that too tedious. I just like to see things like that. I like to kind of look at data slightly differently. If you're looking at data the same way as everyone else, you're not getting the full picture, and that by no means gives you the full picture. But it certainly puts all of these coins on a level playing field when you put it up against Bitcoin's 21 million supply, and then you can kind of say, right, if I'm buying if I'm buying one Bitcoin, I'm getting 21 millionth of the supply. If I'm buying 4,700 XRP, then I'm getting 21 millionth of the supply. So it's just a different way of looking at it, and you have to ask yourself, right, is that worth it? Am I going to get the return from that over the long term or short term? And I think about this as long term. I think we're June 2020 now. We're pretty early to this space, so we're earlier. And I would say anything that you invest now, you want to make sure you do it at the correct time with the correct project. And you probably want to hold for a longer period of time. And during, if you said between 1 to 5 years, what you're going to see during those times is you're going to see massive fluctuations. Sometimes it's going to go up, and it's like XRP. I think at one point it was down to 11p this year, and at another point it was up to 25p. So you can see those massive fluctuations, and you just have to, if you're going to invest for the future, you have to kind of work out a good project, get in at a good price, work out what a good price is, and then sit and hold, or if you're into Decred, the great thing about Decred, of course, is once you buy Decred, if you were to buy 135 Decred, which is approximately £1,300, you can actually stake that to get more Decred. So if you were holding £1,500 worth of Decred for 5 years, every month when you stake it, 140 odd days, you can actually earn another Decred or another 2 Decred, depending on how many tickets you buy. So that's another thing with cryptocurrency. You actually get a return. So you need to keep all of these things in mind. So there's the first one. I hope you found that useful. Now, it'd be great to get your feedback on that. If you found this complete rubbish, give us a comment down below. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're currently trying to get 100 subscribers to this channel. We've got, I think, 15 at the moment. Once we get 100, we can actually start the SEO on it. So we can actually change the YouTube name so it says Decred Society, and the SEO start working. So if you want to help support the channel, all of those things would be absolutely amazing, and I'll see you in the next one.